Rigathi Gachagua is no longer the kingpin of Mount Kenya region. He doesn't speak on their behalf, and that the people of Mount Kenya are in government, not by accident, but by choice, because they played a key role in making William Samoei Ruto president. So to say that William Ruto has caused more harm to the people of Mount Kenya, it is one of the reasons that make me believe that Rigathi Gachagua is suffering from selective amnesia, and that he should seek medical attention.
Subscribe.
I think that is a very good question, and the fact that Gachagua has been positioning himself as the self-appointed spokesperson of Mount Kenya region, where he has been making statements that William Samoei Ruto has no following in Mount Kenya. The very many people who have come out to welcome President William Ruto in Mount Kenya, the thousands of them who line up on the road just to greet him and give him an assurance of their unwavering support, is a confirmation that Rigathi Gachagua is not the leader of Mount Kenya, doesn't speak on behalf of Mount Kenya, and that all the statements that Rigathi Gachagua has made against William Ruto are personal, are individualistic, and they have got nothing to do with the people of Mount Kenya. And therefore, going forward, the rest of the country should ignore the statements that comes out from Rigathi Gachagua. Number two, if you look at the budget of Kenya, from the time William Samoei Ruto became president, half of the budget goes to fund programs and activities in Mount Kenya region because it's expansive. If you look at the composition of cabinet, half of cabinet are members from Mount Kenya region. In fact, if the members of cabinet who are not from Mount Kenya, if they will fail to make it to the cabinet meeting, and the deputy and the ministers from Mount Kenya are the first one to arrive, and they decide to proceed because they have quorum, they can conduct it in Kikuyu language. If you look at the PSS of very serious state departments are from Mount Kenya, right? So to say that William Ruto has caused more harm to the people of Mount Kenya, it is one of the reasons that make me believe that Rigathi Gachagua is suffering from selective amnesia, and that he should seek medical attention. That is, we should treat him as such. But in a nutshell, if you come out everywhere, you are trying to polarize the country. He has been in Western, he has told the people of Western Kenya that William Ruto has got no support in Mount Kenya. He has gone to Nyanza, he has gone to Coast, he has gone everywhere. He has done more than 500 meetings from the time he was impeached in various parts of this country, saying that William Samoei Ruto doesn't have any single support from Mount Kenya region. You know? And a few Kenyans believed him as such, because they never had an opportunity to go there and interview the people. But the fact that the people, that our president has been welcomed very nicely in Mount Kenya, the jubilant supporters from Mount Kenya. You've seen when UDA is doing their sensitization meetings across the counties of Mount Kenya. The UDA supporters have come out in their thousands, very happy. You know, they have welcomed our president. The animosity that was there against members of parliament who are allied to government, you know, at the time when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached, that same animosity is no longer there. I think people are back to their normal business. The members of parliament are back to their business of that they were given by the people to develop those areas. It is a confirmation that Rigathi Gachagua is no longer the kingpin of Mount Kenya region. He doesn't speak on their behalf, and that the people of Mount Kenya are in government, not by accident, but by choice, because they played a key role in making William Samoei Ruto president. And William Samoei Ruto has lived up to his promise. All the Mau roads are being completed. You know, we have opened up that area to the rest of our country. You know, today, if you look at the statistics of the beneficiaries of SHA, if you look at the payouts, the hospitals that are receiving a lion's share from a national government, you know, SHA, you know, our counties from Mount Kenya, and there are hospitals from Mount Kenya, you know, meaning that Mount Kenya people are benefiting from government. Just the same way people from Western Kenya are benefiting. People from Nyanza are benefiting. People from Nairobi are benefiting, you know. And to cut the long story short, the things we said when we were impeaching Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua supporters felt like we went overboard to impeach him. It has come out very clear that even after registering a new political party called the DCP, the guy has never left behind his unending appetite for money. He gets money from everybody. But if you want to run on a DCP ticket, you must give him money. People are running away one by one, one by one, one by one. You know, and I think very soon he will remain with Pastor Dorcas alone. Even his children will run away from him politically.
Mheshimiwa, in addition to that, today, His Excellency President William Ruto is in Nyeri County, holding a meeting with the grassroots elected leaders of the UDA party. You have seen the massive turnout, but one key event stood out. The current governor of Nyeri County, Mathare, today declared his allegiance to President again, and he declared that he is of two-term narrative. And he was the first person that defended Rigathi Gachagua during his impeachment. He was the first person that stood ground and said that this is our son because he is the Nyeri governor and Gachagua comes from Munyoro. He said that they will do everything in their power to ensure that President William Ruto doesn't step to the mountain. I mean, what does that portray to every Kenyan out here today about what Governor Mathare has deployed?
You know, we have in Kenya we have two different type of people. We have one group of people that subscribe to this school of thought of scientists, who are slow learners. Then we have others who subscribe to the school of thought of arts, who are quick learners. For some of us who are scientists, who are able to understand the type of person Rigathi Gachagua is, we were able to come into a conclusion after about 2 years from the time we began interacting with him. Then in him we saw a tribal person. We saw a person driven by money. By all means, we saw a person not fit to be the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. For others like Mutahi Kaika and George Koimburi, I think those are people who subscribe to the School of Arts. They take time to understand. They take time to come to a conclusion. So they are concluding now that Rigathi Gachagua was actually an accident to this country. But Rigathi Gachagua, as a leader, I think is more pandemic than COVID-19. But yote tisa, whether for those who are scientists like myself, who learn very fast and came to a conclusion much more faster that Rigathi Gachagua is not fit to be deputy president, and those who subscribe to the School of Arts like Mutahi Kaika, who took time to come to a conclusion that Rigathi Gachagua is not a good leader, regardless of time taken, we all now standing at the same place with one conclusion that Rigathi Gachagua is an individual who should not be anywhere near the leadership. He shouldn't even be given an opportunity even to chair a funeral committee meeting, because he will lead that committee into making decisions that will take the funeral arrangements to disarray.
Now, Mheshimiwa, I will return you to your constituency, Kimilili constituency. Is an example you gave us that if you were to estimate the money that you have used for development from 2017 to currently 2026, you would estimate it at around 800 million Kenyan shillings. Now, there is one key development that you have seen in Kimilili right now that is coming up, the Huduma Center. I would love, figuratively, for you to actually give just as figuratively, how much does it take to build such an establishment that is of national outlook to the Republic? Because a lot of people, a lot of MPs are saying that things like those ones can't happen. Things like Huduma centers, like an empty building an Huduma center cannot come into play. We would love to know, how much does it take?
If you go to the Huduma Center, if you go to the National Government CDF board website and you key on community, you go to projects that have been approved, proposals that have been approved, you see that the amount of money that we've spent on that Huduma Center, from foundation setting to cabro to paint works, all finishing, including a standby generator and provisions for the workstations, the chairs and the boardrooms and everything. It has costed us Kenya shillings 34 million. And let me tell you, the role of a leader as a student of political science is not necessarily to provide leadership. The role of a leader is to audit public problems and provide solutions to those public problems. That is why when I was trying to find out what ails my people, what are some of the things that are making my people suffer, then I found out like that those drivers who want to look for NTSA services were traveling all the way to Kakamega, Huduma Center. for NTSA services. From here to Kakamega is very far. From here to Bungoma is 27 kilometers, you know. And the neighboring constituencies even are more worse because the upper part of Mount Elgon, Kapsokoni, Kaptama, Kapkaten, going to Bungoma is the farthest. Tongaren, some go to Kitale, others go to Eldoret, others go to Bungoma. So I came up with the Huduma Center so that we can solve public problems that existed from the population of the people of Bungoma to people of Kimilili, that they have to walk all the way to Kakamega to look for NTSA services. Others has to walk all the way to Bungoma. And there are some services, the bureaucracy of moving in government offices. You know, you go here, you go there, you go there. Very bureaucratic. But now you have a building that is one stop. You go there, you sort out your KRA issues. From there, you go to the civil registration issues, you sort them out under one roof. That is a supermarket for government services. You know. And like I repeat, government developments must come to solve public problems. Government laws and the regulations and the policies, they are enacted to solve public problems. The problem that are affecting many counties in Kenya is that you find them that they have brought a development that doesn't solve any public problem. Meaning, the rationale of approving that project was never cognizant of what value will it add to the people. Like I asked you, for example, in Bungoma, we have a Masinde Muliro Stadium that up to today may have gabbled close to an excess of 1 billion, an excess of 1 billion shillings. Of course, when they were coming up with it, they were telling us that we will host Chan, that Senegal and Namibia, they have already booked, there will be beach camp in Bungoma town. Even the hotelier business were even told to take loans and invest in accommodation, in bedding facilities, so that they will be able to cash on Chan. You know. So if I ask you now, what public problem is that Masinde Muliro that costed an excess of 1 billion solving as we speak today? Somebody who can tell you that it came to solve problems of developing talents. Talents are developed in institutions of learning. That's where talents are developed from. And all institutions of learning in Bungoma, they have their fields where they play from. So as a governor, as a leader, you must understand that government development must only be implemented if they have come to solve an existing public problem. That is the reason why Kenyans say that anything that you do, you must do public participation. But again, there is a lacuna in our law. You know, the drafters of our constitution, when they were processing statements from Kenyans that we must be involved in deciding if a project proceeds or not, to me, if you ask me, public participation should be done before budgeting. You know, it is the people that will say, this is what we want. Before now you go and implement it. They should originate the decision of a development. But as we speak today, there's a lacuna in law. The idea originates elsewhere. Then the public just rubber stamps in the name of public participation. You are just being given a form. Do you support or you reject? But if there is no alternative, then we end up supporting. But there is no alternative. You know. So that's the problem that we have in our country. We should only have projects done whose overall intention is to eliminate public nuisance a public problem.
You said some people are slow learners, and we can see like many governor have changed their view and listened to these people. How can you tell Yadava Senator Medu Ed Kebu, Senator Karungo before it is too late?
You know, when Rigathi Gachagua was the deputy president, he was somehow a national leader. He had national networks. He was majorly soliciting money from government agencies. He was only coercing, heads of parastatals for tenders for his children, for companies that are related to him, and the people like those leaders from those other regions, they were not part of his network that I would solicit money from, because they were very small people. Because he had the whole agencies, Kera, Kenha, to bamboozle and get some finances to run whatever that he was doing. But when he was impeached, now he has become a completely more local character. So he has lost networks across the country. He has no gravitas to bamboozle agencies because he's no longer holding that influential government position. So now he has ended up now beginning to solicit funds from small people, including aspirants for MCA, aspirants for member of parliament, sitting leaders. So he has now opened a new chapter that now his local people can now know who Rigathi Gachagua is. Matthew is a very intelligent young man, including the senator for Kiambu. I want to tell you without blinking an eye that the much you can give them to continue hanging around refugee, maybe 6 months, not beyond 6 months. I don't have to tell Senator Matthew anything for him to understand who Rigathi Gachagua is. By now, even he understands who Rigathi Gachagua is better than myself. And I don't think that the person you have mentioned will continue hanging around Rigathi Gachagua for the next 6 months. They'll begin to come back home one by one. There is nobody from Mount Kenya region who defended Gachagua more than my good sister from Githunguri, Gathoni Wamshomba. There is nobody, And let me tell you, Gathoni Wamshomba, she is a mother. You can doubt Mutahi Kaiga. You can doubt George Koimburi, but you cannot doubt a mother in the name of Gathoni Wamshomba. What Gathoni Wamshomba has said about Rigathi Gachagua summarizes the character of that gentleman in one sentence. Trust Rigathi Gachagua at your own peril. Hang around him at your own peril. Even if you are a very good leader with a good vision, you hang around Rigathi Gachagua, you blow up your chances of political excellence in this country.
I'll take you back to the issue of the national government and projects. You started by saying that such developments that have been seen, for example, in your constituency, are only a matter of proper planning. Maybe if we translate that to the national government, what are the areas that you think needs some little improvement, or maybe some of the areas that you might think are somehow failing or need to be better in a way? Maybe there are any tips that you can give to the national government in general, seeing that you have already termed yourself as a master of proper planning, as it can be seen evidently in your constituency?
I think if you ask me in terms of support that the national government is giving Kenyans to be able to solve the very basic things that are as complete nuisance to decent living, national government has done well. There are three sectors that are very important to decent living. Number one is agriculture. Agriculture is the only sector in Kenya that has the potential of employing millions of Kenyans. Agriculture. Look at what the government of Kenya has done to the agricultural sector. Subsidy fertilizer, funding and developing a research institution to be able to provide real-time information to our farmers. That today, if you want to plant, you just send your area to a number. Then you're able to receive a feedback on the type of seeds that will do well in that particular area. And there are very many development partners that are, including World Bank, that the government of Kenya has midwifed and facilitated and handed them over directly to counties. We just need to get our things right, then we are there to go. Number two, another sector that is also very important in terms of contributing to the decent welfare of Kenyans is the healthcare sector. The government, the national government is committed in ensuring that our community health promoters are given incentives and trainings and tools to be able to do what they do and assist our people. The issues of SHA, there could be some small hiccups like any other government program. Any policy that is new will have some challenges. And you have a team led by the CEO of Social Health Authority, Dr. Masing Mangangi, whose responsibility is to collect data and use the same data as a tool for continuous improvement. Parliament has not gone in Sinadine yet. We are still available up to next year, and anything that requires change of law so that SHA can eliminate those areas where we have a problem, we are ready and willing. Those that can be dealt with by the committee of dedicated legislation, where they just do a change of policy, change of regulations, then they just, Parliament just table, then we adopt. We are ready and willing to do that. So in the areas of the health sector, we've done national government has done pretty very well. National government, county governments are the ones that are failing, but of course not all of them. Some governors are doing well, others are not doing very well. The other sector, which is also very important, and the government has really supported that sector, is the Juakali sector, the informal sector. If there is an area that the government of William Samoei Ruto will score very highly, is the support that William Ruto has given to the Juakali sector. The incentives, even though the aggregation and industrial parks have stalled in most of our counties, there are other interventions that the government has pretty done very well. Even the Hustler Fund is in support of the Juakali sector. The Nyota, where young people are given a grant of 50,000 shillings to go and run business, is in support of the Juakali sector. You get the point? This affordable housing is supporting the Juakali sector because the people are supplying manpower, sand, those kind of things are from the Juakali sector. Those people who are fabricating the windows and those kind of things are the Juakali sector. You get the point? And things to do with rural electrification, it is in support of the Juakali sector because the Juakali sector relies on electrical energy for their welding and the various things that they are doing. The only thing that I think both county and national government must work together to improve is, number one, we must ensure that we have made available clean water for the general population. We have bigger areas, bigger population of Kenyans who have no access to clean water. They still walk several kilometers to go and fetch water from the river, fetch water from the wells, water that we can't agree, we cannot guarantee that is safe drinking water. That's why we have cases of cholera across the country, because of dirty drinking water. That is what we need to do. We must have a stable and steady supply of clean water to every household in Kenya. That's an area that we need to invest in and go forward. Right? And we are currently, as National Assembly, embroiled in a discussion where we are trying to come up with a law that will guide public participation, where Kenyans themselves should originate projects, should originate ideas, so that to make it very clear that whatever government commits her money on is something which Kenyans will be happy about in terms of making their life more easy and simpler.
Mheshimiwa, allow me to take into the matters of national politics and also in terms of our constitution. You are somebody that is versatile with our constitution. So there is a topic that was introduced about a month ago by our current Prime Cabinet Secretary Mathare on the issue of having a referendum, conducting a referendum in conjunction with our 2027 general election. And it's a topic that has been discussed severally by different scholars in law and also those are currently in government. They have a whole, some of them have joined the school of thought of Musalia Mudavadi, but also others are disputing it. I would love to borrow your mind in that topic of referendum.
That is a waste of time. Waste of time, waste of energy, and we shouldn't encourage anything that will defocus us from racing against time to implement on the remaining things that we promised Kenyans, from the remaining things that are part of our manifesto. The time that is remaining to the general election, we have no time to begin having or encouraging discussions about changing our constitution. And if we have extra time, we need to begin thinking about the very many policies that we have implemented as government, including SHA, including housing levy. How do we audit them and tighten areas that are not good, areas that will make them much more better. We need to go a notch higher on, in terms of seeing how we are going to harness more resources and stabilize the economy of our country and begin to free the pay slips of many Kenyans to some small extent, because our economy now is doing very well. And when the economy is doing very well, then what you do is that you have more money available to pay the people who are working for us. That's the only thing that we can encourage, but we cannot encourage anybody. And by the way, the position you hold has got nothing to do with whether you are more intelligent than other people. So for that one about changing our constitution, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, I think, goofed.